Hey there, this is what we're going to be hunting. I will show you a couple of ways to give you options, and later on what you can craft from the drop. Some of the crafting may not be quite as simple as you might think, so watch to the end to save you from having some possible confusion later on down the line. I'm nearly naked, so I'm going to show you the bare minimum that you will need to take down a sea serpent. A fine wood bow maxed out to level 4, 50 flint arrows will be more than enough, some honey, cooked deer meat and cooked boar meat. Let's get hunted. Serpents don't just spawn at the night time. There is a lower chance of finding them in the daytime, but that chance does increase in stormy weathers. In choppy weathers you may spot them just at the last minute. Stay alert and get ready to pummel it with arrows as soon as you see it. Initially, before they attack you, they like to stick their necks out and scream at you. Make sure to take full advantage of this and get some arrows in. After it drops back down in the water, it will swim towards your boat, take a chunk out of it and then swim around and come back again. Be careful where you aim. Keep moving around your boat in case you accidentally shoot your mast or any other part of your boat to cause damage to it. It won't take you very long before you get used to the pattern and know when to aim and when to shoot. The rough seas can make it a bit more awkward. If you haven't got a clear line of sight, just cancel the aim to save the durability on your bow, then let your stamina bar regen a little bit for when you can get a better line of sight. Your bow will be able to take a few hits. They are not indestructible, but a hell of a lot better than a raft. Please don't ever try and hunt one of these on a raft. Keep on going, and in about a minute, as long as you don't miss too often, the sea serpent will be no more. As you will see, the boat has taken a fair amount of damage. If you want things to be a little less stressful, then either bring bronze arrows, a huntsman's bow, or both. The serpent meat will float on top of the ocean, and you can just jump in, have a bit of a swim and collect it all up. Get your boat a little bit closer to it first though before diving in case you run out of stamina and can't get back to your boat. If the worst should happen and you do die on the ocean, don't worry, your tombstone will float so you can retrieve all your items anyway. Unfortunately, killing serpents out in the ocean, their scales and head will sink to the bottom. So on with method number 2. First of all, I will show you where to get the material for to craft the harpoon. These small islands that you will find dotted around in the ocean area are actually called the Kraken, and on top you will find these barnacles. You only actually need an antler pickaxe to be able to harvest them, so if you come across them early in your adventure you can just jump out and grab yourself some. Every time you damage barnacle there is a 25% chance of the Kraken starting to submerge. With a better quality pick, of course, you can harvest more in a shorter space of time. If you hear a rumbling sound, that means in about 10 seconds it will start to sink. No need to panic too much as long as you've got the stamina to be able to get back to your boat. Using your Ike the buff for the increased stamina regen will help you. Another tip, park your boat up with your ladder side to the actual side of the Kraken. That way if you do need to swim back to your boat you don't have to go all the way around to the other side. Realistically you will probably have to find at least 2 Krakens to be able to craft the harpoon. If you don't mind the odd exploit you can actually log out to reset it from sinking. To craft the Abyssal harpoon you need your 30 chitin, 8 fine wood and 3 leather scraps. Also a level 2 workbench. I'll just go and grab another serpent and then share with you how I use the harpoon. When you come across your sea serpent in the ocean and you want to use your harpoon, I advise not harpooning them straight away because it would actually drain your stamina. If you haven't got a large stamina bar, you will keep running out and then releasing the actual serpent. What I like to do is lure them much closer to the shoreline. This will then help you to make it easier to drag them much further inland. If you sail too fast you will end up losing the serpent, and they will also not swim from one end of the ocean to the other. It seems they don't particularly like the shallow waters, meaning they could break off their pursuit and then you've got to go and collect them again. When you manage to get them to the shoreline, if your harpoon line breaks and they end up going back to the sea, at the shoreline your boat would add as a distraction. As they try and attack your boat, you can re-harpoon them and drag them back inland. The sea serpents won't actually attack you on land. Any melee weapon will do. I'm just using a bronze axe. You'll probably be wanting to harvest quite a few of these sea serpents for their meat, so for a nice bonus tip later on in the video, I will show you an incredibly effective weapon for killing the sea serpents. Any biome you're in, dragging the serpents onto the land, any other creatures in the area will attack it and you at the same time, whichever's closest to them. If you plan ahead and scout out in the area first, any large ponds in the area can actually act as an actual trap. You can then let the other creatures help you, fire a few arrows. Remember though, if the pool is deep, you don't want to be killing it whilst it's actually in there, if you want the scales on the head. Before it dies, I'll just drag it back out with the harpoon and finish it off. For mounting your serpent head trophy, you will need to attach an item stand to your wall first. Afterwards, pop your trophy in one of your hotbar slots, then just press the corresponding number to attach it to your wall. A nice welcoming art installation to the Viking school. It sure beats a banana taped to a wall anyway. It's a mad world. For crafting the Serpent Scale shield, you need 8 of the scales, 4 iron and 10 fine wood. This is the shield that I highly recommend and it will serve you well for a long time. I've used it in the mountains and also in the plains. It is highly effective against mosquitoes as well. and archers due to it being resistant to pierce. Now it's time to cook that serpent meat. For making a serpent stew, you can't just put the raw meat in the cauldron, and you can't cook the meat just on a standard campfire. You will need to have an iron cooking station. Chuck the meat on the hooks and wait for it to cook just like any other meat. I would definitely keep a close eye though, you don't want to be burning this stuff. Now that you've got your cooked meat and you've got the recipe for cooking your serpent stew, you will need a level 2 cauldron. The earliest item you have access to be able to do this is the spice rack. It can be incredibly frustrating and confusing for some people trying to place this item. You can't attach it to any walls, what you actually have to do is attach it from the ceiling or a beam. It needs to hang down and be in range of the cauldron to be able to place one. Now you're all set and you will be able to craft your serpent stew. It's bonus time. I will demonstrate the great weapon I talked about earlier on. Just find yourself a serpent, drag it as short as you normally would. The weapon you will be using is a one-hander, so as long as you've got stamina, you can keep on attacking the serpent whilst it's harpooned. Serpents are weak to frost damage, and with this weapon it will slow them down when they're trying to retreat back into the sea. And as you can see, it does good damage and makes very short work of the sea serpents. The weapon, if you haven't guessed already, is Frostner. I do hope I've helped you out in some way. Please remember to tap the like button if you've enjoyed the video. This will help the video spread to other gamers and is very much appreciated. Thank you. See you soon, and as always, take it easy.